People are saying that we're going into a buyer's market. Is that true? Well, guess what? That's what we're gonna cover off in this video, so stay tuned. By the way, my name is Hussein Kabani. I am your favorite broker. I help my clients buy, sell, invest in real estate. We also do some leasing, believe it or not. And I can help you guys out with your needs or answer your questions. A link to my calendar is gonna be below. I encourage you guys to book a quick 30-minute chat with me and we could discuss your specific needs. For now, back to the video. As of right now, we're in the first week of October and we have about 19,500 listings on the market throughout the GTA. So we're not quite in a buyer's market. And just to put everything into perspective of what a buyer's market is and where it's gonna start. So a month ago, beginning of September, we had about 17,000 listings on the market. So first week of October, we have 19,500 listings available for sale. It is quite a big jump. To have 2,500 listings come onto the market, it is a pretty decent jump. So we're not quite there. I would say that around 20,000, which we're approaching pretty quickly, is gonna be a balanced market. It's gonna be equal for buyer and seller. When we start to get around that 22,000 listings available for sale, that's when I would say that we're gonna be into a buyer's market at that point. So we're not quite there yet. Are we gonna get there? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends on how the next few months kind of play out. But what I can tell you is that if you are a seller that's working in a buyer's market right now, what I would suggest to you guys is this: be right on your price, okay? Right now in this market where we have 19,500 listings available for sale and we might get into a buyer's market, I wouldn't wanna be playing around with price. Our experience has been that if you price a property too high and start doing price reductions, you actually will end up with less money than pricing it right the first time. So if you are a seller, my suggestion to you would be is to price your property correctly right from the beginning. We have an example of this right now, whereas there are some homes that are listed for $800,000 right now in the market, and we know that they're listed a little bit high based on comparables. We actually priced our house right at $775,000, and within a week, we had an offer that we've accepted already. It's conditional right now, but we got a good offer and we've accepted it already. So this is how you're gonna work in a buyer's market if you're a seller. Not to mention, I think it's gonna be even more important right now to have your property presented correctly. So what I mean by that is that you need to have your property decluttered. I would suggest staging it and having really good pictures and video for your property, because ultimately everyone's gonna start to make a decision whether they wanna see your property or not online. So it's gonna all start online, so we have to have a great presentation online and pricing it correctly. So if you're a seller, these are the key things I would be doing right now. If you are a buyer, you're on the right side now. Well, all the buyers that were having troubles, going through multiple offers and everything else like that, not getting what they wanted and having all this disappointment, well, I would say that if you're smart with your time and what you're looking for, I think you're gonna be in for a win right now, okay? And by that, what I mean is that before, in the previous market, you weren't able to put in a home inspection condition or a financing condition, and you weren't able to go home and think overnight if you wanted to move forward with this property. I would literally be chasing you down with an iPad and saying, you gotta sign here right now if you want this house. And you would have this crazy emotional roller coaster, and maybe at the end of it, you would have been like, wow, I made a decision on buying a house in 20 minutes. And after my first visit, I don't know if that was the right house for me. So right now, guys, as buyers, we can slow down this whole process for you guys, okay? So in order to be prepared in this market right now, the number one thing always is, as a buyer, have a pre-approval. Have a pre-approval that's really good from a good mortgage broker or bank that you actually trust, and make sure all the information is correct on that so you know what you're dealing with in terms of a budget. The next thing is that evaluate your options. Like, there's gonna be a lot of them right now. And if you think that you're gonna go and lowball somebody for like a $200,000 break because it's a buyer's market or we're getting into one, I don't think that's the right approach, okay? I don't think that even if that listing can come down $200,000, if they're priced where they're priced right now, I don't think that they're even prepared to come down to that number, okay? Would I tell you that if your budget is $900,000, not to look at a $950 house or a $975 house? I would say, hey, we could do a quick evaluation and we could say that it might actually happen, or you might have to stretch a little bit, but it's gonna be possible for you to do. So I would say still focus in on the right homes. So if you have your pre-approval, you're focusing in on right homes, I think that you're gonna be able to find a property that you like, and we're gonna be able to negotiate a really good deal for you in this market right now as well, because we have that power. There's power right now in the inventory inventory where buyers can actually spread. Not all the buyers are going to be onto one property. It doesn't mean that you won't get into a multiple offer. We've had this situation occur right now with 19,000 listings available for sale. If there is a unique property out there that is possibly a custom build, has a pool, has everything really nicely done in a very desirable neighborhood, is it possible that property can get into a multiple offer? Absolutely. So you're not safe from that either. But for the most part, you're probably not going to end up in a multiple offer. So if everything is set up correctly, you have your pre-approval, you've targeted a list of homes that you can actually afford, we can actually negotiate a very good deal for you. Not only that, but in this market, we're likely going to be able to have a home inspection put in for you, which I think is important. Even if you were on the flip side of the market where you couldn't put in a home inspection, I still tell all of my clients that on the day that you close or the day after, I would still have a home inspection done. And it's not necessarily that we're going out and looking for things that have issues. We're even looking for information from a professional home inspector to tell us, hey, what can I do with this house today to make sure that I don't have a big bill to repair something later on, like caulking or grading a property. Different small things like this that will cost you a little bit of money can actually save you a big bill afterwards. So having that home inspection in there right now is a very valuable thing for you guys. Also, you're probably already aware of this. Mortgage approval works in two ways. So just because you have your pre-approval doesn't mean that the bank is gonna like this property. So a pre-approval is for you, what your income is, what your credit is, what your debts are, and what they will ultimately lend you based on these factors. But part two of this is the house itself. So they have to be comfortable with the house that you're purchasing as well. In the previous market, you probably have to go in blind and hope that everything is going to come in. And if it doesn't come in, you might have to have $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 in the background that you can backfill this with if your appraisal doesn't come in. Well, in this market, you're going to have the assurance that you can put in that home inspection condition, that financing condition, and check off all the boxes and make sure that you are comfortable with what is happening. Going towards a buyer's market or being in this market right now where there is enough inventory that you're not getting into multiple offers, I'd just like to recap. For a seller, your pricing has to be bang on the market if you want to actually sell it without going through a lot of pain, and your property has to present really well, because there's a lot of properties out there, I hate to say it, that look pretty crappy. So if your house looks really nice, you're going to add that emotional attachment to it where a buyer is going to be drawn to your property versus other properties right now. And if you are a buyer, you could take your time, you could think about it, you could put in conditions to protect yourself ultimately. This is the situation we are in right now, guys, and I would love to have a further conversation with you. So my calendar link is going to be below over here, and I encourage you guys to book a quick 15-30 minute chat with me, and I could discuss your current situation in greater detail. Until next time, guys, remember one thing: get Cabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.